fix that. There we go. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Chateau Del Nick live here on Facebook and YouTube on SPTV. And hello to everyone who's already joining us. Izzy and Heidi on YouTube, hello. Hope you enjoyed the Mexican wave. Krish over on Facebook, hello. Diana and Lisa and Jessica over on YouTube, and Catherine, Fiona, Jill and Kate on Facebook. Welcome to all. Welcome. And it's a pleasure to be here to serve you this evening. Lots to get through, lots to do. So we'll give everyone a few minutes to just get logged on and joined in. And then I'll say hello to everyone and introduce myself, of course, because that's what I'm supposed to do. But welcome to my humble abode here in the shiny village of Littleport in the slap dab middle of East Anglia. And thank you for joining me here on SPTV tonight. I'm a bit of a late comer when it comes to the SPTV family, but I have been watching from the background to see what goes on and how everyone gets in. And I know that you are a very friendly and welcoming bunch, so please look after me. Hello there to Denise, and hello to Jessica. I'm absolutely fine, thank you. It's been a long day. I was up at 4 this morning, but that's normal for me. And hello, Wendy. It's nice to meet you too. And hello, Michelle and Andrea and Helen and James. Yes, it's all very. Thank you, Heidi. It's lovely to be on SPTV. So, as more people start to come in, giving them a chance, because we'll get the bit that nobody's interested in really, but are just too polite to say. We'll get that bit out of the way, and I'll say who I am and why I'm here. You know why I'm here. I'm here to demonstrate mediumship, to prove life eternal. And my name is Nick Brown, Reverend Nick Brown. And as I said before, I live in Littleport, which is in Cambridgeshire. I've been a medium for about 25 years now. God, that's gone quite a while. And I also have been an ordained minister of spiritualism for the last 10 years. 10 years on the 12th of June, actually. So it's all a bit nerve-making. Hello, Wendy. Hello, Sandra. Hello, Liz. Hello, Sammy. Hello, Helen. Hello, Joe. And hello, Sammy. And Claudette, hello. I have been working as a medium on and off around the local area for around about 20 years. I spent much of my time developing just in Littleport, doing fledglings evenings, stepping in when needed. Interestingly enough, 25 years on, that's still what I do, step in when needed. My passion, of course, is proving life eternal, but my absolute fave is philosophy. But I have been told to rein it in tonight. Hello, Linda Brown, also known as Mother. Hello, Sandra Victoria. Hello, Catherine. Izzy's having technophobe problems. Oh, I wouldn't have technophobe problems. Just switch it on and leave it and forget about it. That's what I do. And of course, yes. So it's all been a very interesting few years for spiritualism. I love the concept of mediumship over the internet, reaching parts other ways of life didn't necessarily reach. And Alison tonight is looking after me and keeping me safe. Richard's busy doing other things, of course, busy beaver that he is. So Alison very kindly decided to take care of me and look after me and tell me when I should do what, when, where, and how. But thank you all for the lovely, lovely welcomes that you've all given me tonight. One of the things that really does matter to me in spiritualism is reaching places that I wouldn't normally do. And I absolutely love the online thing. At Littleport, we did it for about 2 years, just 10 minutes of the service at the beginning before the pandemic. And it was then a little bit easier to go full live when it happened. And I'm so glad that people like SPTV and others have carried on. We still, even though we're back in the hall now, we continue to broadcast live. If you want to know anything about me or the church I serve or the work that we do at Littleport and other areas, there's several of us a part of the group of which I'm involved with. You can find me on Facebook. Oh, look, she's good. She's good. You can find me on Facebook, or you can search YouTube for Rev Nick Brown. There are a couple of us, but the other one doesn't do mediumship. So there we are. Welcome to Simply. Welcome to Jill. And let's see who else is here. And I'm not talking about the feed. I'm talking about the world of spirit, of course. Let's see who is about. Let's see who's listening and who wants to reach out to you lovely, lovely people joining us all together tonight. So give me a second and I will see. Ah, yes, thank you. The wonderful thing about mediumship, of course, is that they know before we do who's going to be about, which means that they can plan ahead and I don't have to. It's much, much easier that way. I'm aware of a younger gentleman joining us here right now as he steps forward, who introduced himself while I was having 5 minutes outside in the sunshine. I know that he loved the sunshine. He was definitely a sun worshipper in the non-religious sense, of course. And he... I don't think he was any more than late 20s. I might stretch to early 30s, but looking young. But I would say no older than late 20s. In actual fact, I get 29 in my head. That could either be his age or a date in significance. This young man, as he stands beside me, I know that he's a couple of inches taller than me, which would make him just shy of 6 foot, but not much. And he had wonderful sandy blonde hair that was very fly away. He did smarten it up, of course, but when he was in his neutral state, when he was relaxed, his hair was very fly away with sticky out bits, but it still looked good. Aren't we all jealous of that? This young man, he's telling me that there were a great many questions around his passing, which he's not saying either way whether he will go into or not. Hello Kelly, we are on the internet, and anyone who's listening may well be the recipient, so he could have been anywhere in the world. The world of spirit for me doesn't have accents, just like it doesn't have languages other than that of thought. So it could well be. Keep listening, see if the rest fits. He's actually laughing and talking about what would happen after his passing, and he said there are a great many people thought that I'd be going downwards rather than upwards. He says, but I was very surprised myself to see that there is no downwards, which is, you know, a wonderful thing for him to share. I'm also made aware that there was, oh bless your heart, I don't know whether this is physically or emotionally yet, but I just feel crushed. I feel crushed, and certainly around the chest as well. So I would say that it was physically. Ribs certainly weren't in a good shape, and I'm all thank you. He had this really big chain around his neck. Not metaphysically, literal chain, which whoever it is actually has that chain with them. Now, with his connection to whoever it is he's coming to, he's also telling me to tell them that they have a great many questions that have already been answered by other mediums, but they've always still had their doubts, because whoever it is it's coming to is always a bit of a doubter, and he always used to tease them for that. So if anyone could understand any of that information so far, hello Kelly. If you understand all this information, if you're good to listen, have a good old listen, see where we go from here. So I wanna just recap. Oh, hang on, we're going bright blonde hair, split up just before passed away. Right, okay, let's see who this gentleman is. Oh, right, okay. He says, don't call me a gentleman. He's very down to earth. He's very straightforward. He doesn't mince his words. I'm also very much aware that he's laughing about where he got the chain from. I'm not allowed to say things like that. Let's just say that it might not necessarily have come about by traditional legal means. He says he found it. If either Joe or I can't remember the name of who it was. I'm terrible with names, by the way. Thank you, Kelly. Can either of you accept that? Does that narrow you out either way? I know Alison's looking after me, some of it possibly, and my other potential recipient, is that possibly no, maybe, or no? That way we can identify who we're with. It usually tends to help to pin them down. And yes, it sounds like him. Okay, right. Right. Right, okay, thank you. So just to help identify where he is with either of these two recipients, what I'm being shown is the okay, thank you. I was going to say a picture, but I was shown a frame, and I've just looked in it and I can see myself. So from which one of you is sitting, one of you can actually look up and see yourself smiling back at you from a mirror. Oh, hello. And I'm also very much aware that there's something to do with, and it could be yourself, just a way of connecting you, something to do with pains in the hands or knuckles. So either a bash or a bruise or something that you've damaged. But I've got bad hands and I've got a mirror in front of you. So I'm hoping that will identify who we are with now. I don't normally drink, but it's good for covering over the silences. So one of you are looking in a mirror, or can see a mirror from where you are sitting. It was like a wooden frame I saw, but it could just mean frame to me. So either Joe or Kelly. So my associate is right. So can't take bad hands. I'm sat near a bit, but can't see them at the moment. So that was Joe. So Kelly, are you? Kelly, I have a large mirror in front of me. Aha! We have a winner. Thank you for listening, Joe. Don't think for a second that he's not about, because he's probably sat right next to you. That's the wonderful way it works. But Kelly, if I can just work with you a moment, he's cut. Right, okay. I'm being made aware of. Right, okay. Yeah. I'm being made aware of difficult. Oh, the wooden frame as well. Hey, he's good. I'm being made aware of problems with the nose, difficulty breathing, something to do with the sinuses. His ability to breathe was shot. and his ability to, you know, walk around without sniffing every 5 minutes, absolutely shot. So maybe hay fever, maybe something else, but it's just these little things that he's wanting to just pop forward to give a little bit more identification. This sniffing, people used to get really, really annoyed about, but it came in useful knowing when he was about, because it always gave him away. And he's telling me it was really, really easy for people to notice when he was about with that. Cool. So he's just giving that as a little identification. And don't worry, you can't spell. I can't spell either, and I do publishing, but it's this sense of humour. Because I keep throwing in my little quips, I feel that he had an aunt. I did wonder, but I was being polite. Thank you, Kelly. Okay, apparently I'm the first person to be polite to him. You know, the fact is, people judge people based on their past and their present and their appearances. But the truth is, this guy, no matter what the difficulties he had, I can feel his presence, I can feel his heart, I can feel his emotions. And I know that no matter what anybody said, he was a good guy. He was he would do anything for anyone. And, you know, this is why people used to say to him, oh, you'll be going down, not up. Whilst there are places where we go to think about what we've done, while there are places where we are shown the error of our ways, whether we choose to stay there or not is our choice. And he really, really was keen to move forward, and that's why he was so happy to be able to be up and away with the fairies, as he puts it. He's such a great guy, really, in his heart, and not a lot of people he let in enough to see that. But what he's telling me to say to you is, yes, the questions, yes, you've got them, yes, you've already had the answers and you didn't believe them, but no, I really, really didn't mean it. And having said what you've said, we both know what that meant, and I'm sure you felt that coming when I first said the questions. He is... Ah, thank you. He's talking about a young girl around you. There's a young cousin, but like a... absolutely. Oh, and his mum's... well, everyone watching, I know everyone watching here is interested or is mediumistic, so send healing to the mum. And that was from him. He couldn't hold a conversation down without going off on a tangent. I allow myself to be impressed by the person and try and show a little bit of their character and their behaviors. He was very visual. He was very swift with his hands. Take that hand. But he keeps going back to this young girl, and the big bright smile that pops up from time to time, that one might almost think was random, but it isn't, because from what I'm getting, he's standing there doing this and doing that and saying hello and making her laugh, and everyone's like, oh, what's she laughing at? But you know, it's him, because he's very much about, you know, bringing people forward. He was always the one to push everyone forward. It's so that he could hide behind them. He was, in spite of being the life and soul of the party, socially he actually feels very awkward. So it was a lot of bravado, a lot of mystique, and it just feels to me very much that he would push people forward for his own benefit as much as theirs. So Kelly, the reason he wants to say hello to you tonight is because not only do you have that great connection, not only have you been thinking about him, there's something to do with thank you, that was what you first said when you first came through in the garden. There's something to do with a picture. either being moved or being damaged. And he's just laughing about it. He's not annoyed at all, but he says, I never really liked it anyway. He didn't like being that massive spotlight, even though he appeared to be. So what he's saying to you is he wants you to be more in the spotlight, because you've been shining your light under a bushel and not pushing you, because he was the one who pushed you forward. So what he wants you to do is know that he is here, know that he is pushing you forward, and know that he really, although he wishes he was still here with you, he's glad to be able to keep an eye on you, push you forward, and help you in ways that he couldn't have done in the past. Thank you, to make up for the ways that you helped him. He's making me aware of an up-and-coming anniversary in August, and what's that? That seems really strange. It's a watch without a strap. So I was going to say a pocket watch, but I don't actually. If we don't actually have a pocket watch, it could be a watch without a strap. But something that maybe even mum's got clinging on to it. And, you know, he says, whoever's got it, keep holding and keep squeezing, and that will give the healing. And I hope that helps, Kelly. I hope that's good for you. And we all, of course, send healing to his mum and yourself, and, of course, a little bit of love up to him. So I don't know whether you're still on, because my producer in the background is just checking to see if he's still there, but I've got him giggling, and if you did drop off, you can watch back on. Oh, hello. So I hope that was all right for you, my love, and I'll say God bless you and thank you for listening. And moving, okay, and he was a gentleman as well, because he's just ushered forward the next person, which is lovely of him. And I have to say, even though I'm not reading everything because I'm busy, and they'd tell me off, it's lovely to see the sense of community going on as the stream chom. It's absolutely beautiful, and all the welcoming of new people. It's just wonderful to see that sense of community. And one thing that I found about the way I work is that everything I say between a message leads to the next one. And it's this sense of community and welcoming to strangers and new people that this next person was noted for. However, now that he, thank you, another gentleman, now that he steps forward, certainly his pace has changed. He's a much more deliberate speaker. He's not as fast paced. I do feel that he was very breathless, certainly towards the end. It started out off as the occasional yawn and the occasional gasp, and then it gradually progressed further and further and further, until he was very laboured breathing, and he's just demonstrating that to me now, bless his heart. I would say that he was a little bit shorter than me, so probably 5'8", 5'9". Had a little bit of padding around him in his prime, and he didn't mind that at all. He says it kept me warm in the winter. And there is something to do with snow regarding a memory link there, but I'm sure we'll come back to that. Pat, hello, could be your dad. This gentleman had lovely light coloured hair. We've got Pat and Rebecca both feeling dad links. I hadn't got to that bit now, so I can't give it because you've already given it. So I can't say that. However, I do feel when it comes to relationship, all joking aside, because I do like to have a bit of a giggle, this guy really did have a sense of humour, and he was a bit of a teaser. He's showing me himself really casual, light coloured trousers, a pastel shaded shirt. He doesn't like the fact that I'm wearing this, not because he doesn't like it, white hair, and he was funny. Right, okay. Would you understand that he wouldn't like this, not because he was against religion, but because it's too restrictive? He liked to have his shirt collar open, and he was always moaning. Oh, thank you, Rebecca, for confirming that. Bless you. So, Pat, would you understand that this Dad, not this gentleman now, would you understand that Dad would have teased and wanted the breath of fresh air? Oh, and hello, Reverend Ashley. How are you? This gentleman, he would always moan about the fact on formal occasions he'd have to wear a tie, and it would disappear very quickly. And I'm now feeling with him that very laboured feeling. So towards the end of his physical life, his ability to hold court became less and less. And although he tried to cover it up, it became more and more obvious. More and more obvious as the time passed. And I do feel he would have been distracted easily. And he would have to sit and think about what he was going to say, which was probably one of the hardest parts, because of the fact that he did hold court and he was this huge figure of personality, and then it just got so obviously slowed. Can you understand that all, Pat? And I'll count to 12 because I know there's a 12-second delay. Sip. And just while we're waiting, just to keep on top of the link, I've also got something to do with the ears. He was very laboured breathing towards the end. Yes, he had to cut down on holding. Oh, bless him. Yes, I'm 99.1,000,000% confident that I am with you. Especially since when I looked at your picture on your profile, he just gave a bit of a smirk about Liverpool. I'm saying nothing, but he just gave a bit of a smirk about that. He wants you. Thank you. That's lovely. As soon as that connection, as soon as we make that connection, he gets rid of it all, and he's back to holding court, because that's why he's here tonight. He wants to hold court. He wants to push forward his message and his point. This is the thing. His breathing. That would be why he gave a bit of a grin. Yeah, the holding court thing. His breathing might have been laboured, but he never laboured his point. He was very straightforward and succinct, and very absolutely blatantly blunt, but in a nice way, about what he was thinking, what he was feeling, and how he was going to say it. And he would always let you know. But that's not to say that he wouldn't listen, because he was also one of the world's listeners. And he said oh right, okay, thank you. He said half the time when we were talking, you'd sit there talking to me, and you'd be telling me your issues, you'd be telling me your problems, when I eventually got it out of you, and you'd tell me everything, and then you'd give me the solution, and I didn't even have to say anything. Oh, bless him. Oh, bless you. Thank you, Pat. Yeah, he didn't have to say anything sometimes, because he'd just enable you to give that information, get that information out of you, get you your answer in your own head. And that way, he could definitely take he says, I'll definitely take praise for it, and I do feel that he liked a good old natter, but he knew when to not, which I think is lovely, and was certainly one of the most endearing parts of his personality. Thank you. Now, I know he's just briefly brought back the breathing. And I know that's because that he's referencing it now to a current earthly situation around you, where you're seeing some similar symptoms or behaviors. Not yet, no. I as I said earlier, I'm really terrible with names on earth, and on earth as it is in heaven. But if I do get any, I will definitely shout it your way. Sometimes towards the end they'll chuck me a couple, just to test me out and push me harder. But the earthly condition, there's some symptoms or behaviors around you at the moment that remind you of his condition, and it's in the back of your mind. Is it, isn't it? Should I be concerned? Should I not? He's reminding me that he would say, if there's ever any problems, get it checked out, get people to get it checked out, make them check it out. I have a thank you. He says, he says personally, you know, we can read into things when we are worried, which, you know, he doesn't want people worrying. So I feel that he feels that everything should be all right, but it still doesn't negate the fact that we should get things checked out. He's a very sensible man there. As he continues, I'm made aware of a load of coins. I don't know whether he collected coins or left a big old pot of coins or something, but there's something to do with a lot of coins. Wonderful. So you've got your answer as well. Excellent. I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased. But a little bit of confirmation. He's been holding your hand every single step of the way. In actual fact, that holding of the hand is important, in particular during a test. You asked and he heard. As he starts to wrap it up, really, because he's so brilliant. I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased. Bless his heart. What he wants you to know is that you need to get out more, get back to doing what you do best. I was just made aware of I'll get it actually. I was just made aware of this. They tend to point things out to me. I feel as though you should be having things like this, and pens and pencils and paints and stuff. He says, you know, whether you're good at art or not, it's very relaxing and very therapeutic and gets you out in the summer. So there's something to do with art that he just asked me to get this down for you. And it will take me about 6 months to put it back up because it's broken, but hey, it will give me something to do. Once again, this distraction with him. He was always easily distracted, but I've already said that. I do feel towards the end of his life he did struggle a bit with his memory, because I'm now starting to repeat myself, and I feel that this is something that he would have done. But what he also wants to say right now is, as he starts to back away, he's got a huge bunch of daffodils. Not baking, no. I make a lovely cake, but, you know, I can send you a recipe. Eggless too, for the vegans out there. I make a lovely eggless cake. Behave, you're getting me distracted again. You would not be able to have friends would not be able to have a proper conversation with him because it would be all over the place. But everyone seemed to keep up because they knew him so well. But I don't know him very well yet, so struggling to keep up sometimes. But he wants me to give this huge bunch of daffodils. And he just has a bit of a grin about the daffodils. And as he does that, he wants to throw me an April anniversary. And I'm also hearing the names Jordan and David, not necessarily his, but in connection around you or him. But the name's Jordan, which I don't think I've ever gotten before, and the name David. So he pushes this huge bunch of daffodils to you. I'm not sure that they came from a shop. Money saver. And I will give you his love and say God bless you, and I hope that that was all right for you, Pat. And you can take David. See, I knew he'd push me. He was a pusher. He was someone who pushed people to do the best they could without being forceful. And not only did he do that in your life, he's doing that now with me, helping me out, pushing me to do the best I can for you. So I'll say God bless you, and thank you for listening. Well, friends, I believe we're due a advertisement right now. And he was a pusher. Oh, good. He's still pushing. He's still pushing. So I believe Alison has an advert for us, because my phone is starting to vibrate at me to remind me. So Alison, do we have an advertisement up and coming? So yes, there is a divine service with the lovely Wimbledon Spiritualist Church tomorrow morning from 11 a.m. That is, of course, UK time. And don't forget, we're in British summertime as well. That tends to have a bit of an influence. So that will be available, of course, via YouTube. That's youtube.com/Spiritual Psychics TV. Always worth a watch, always worth a listen, always worth a partake. Any spiritualist church that serves the people, any spiritualist church that makes the effort, and any spiritualist church that just literally gets the doors open is always well worthy of a support. And I know the guys at Wimbledon, the guys and gals, I do apologize, do work very, very hard to make sure that they provide for everyone. So do have a look in if you are available tomorrow morning from 11. And then, of course, we also have a demonstration of mediumship. Now, this is ticketed. This is in live in the flesh, not live on the internet, at the Roebuck Inn in Droxford in Wickham, on Saturday the 11th of June from 6:30. It's only £15, and look at all the workers you've got serving you there. You've got Matt and Kirsty Grogan, you've got Polly Hart, and you've got Bill Hughes, and they're going to be in the Roebuck Inn for you. And I can see Heidi's got her ticket, very excitable about that, and you should be too. £15 for mediums. Cool, what a deal. Get yourselves down to Wickham right now. And I would book your ticket first, though. But do have a good look and see if you can make it to that. And if you're in the area, definitely I would recommend going and seeing those 4 lovely workers for Spirit. And yes, enjoy that. It's a bit far for me, and I'm probably working in my shop. And of course, yes, the Spiritualist Church Online, as a Christian spiritualist, James, I know exactly how you feel. Here in Texas, it's 6 hours. Oh, wow. And that's commitment to get up at 4:30. Be honest with you, I get up at 4:30 to drive an hour and a half to work. But hopefully by the end of the month, that will be done with too. But yes, do try and support as best you can the wonderful work of SPTV. And I will now try and support you by seeing who else is waiting in the queue. Yes, of course, madam, do step forward. Lovely lady pushing herself forward here. She made herself known to me earlier on. I do feel a very wonderful, uplifting, but also slightly disciplined presence with this wonderful lady as she pushes herself through. She just smiled at me, this really wry smile as she stepped forward, and she says, "You and I would never have got on. You talk too much." This lady, bless her heart, she smiled when she said that. So it's lovely of her. She could put you in your place without actually telling you off, without you feeling negative towards her. She could pull you back and she had firm hold of the reins, this lady. And I am also feeling very much that this lady was a motherly figure. However, I'm not entirely sure that it's the daughter that's on tonight. I may be wrong, but she was very much about family, and she was all about being equal and evenly distributed amongst everyone. Um, but I don't necessarily feel that this is the daughter that she's coming through. Oh, right. Oh, hello, Bev. And we've got Rhiannon, that could be my grandma. And we've got Lillian also saying your mother, and Bev's her granddaughter. So yes, you wouldn't be the daughter. Lillian, just do listen. If there was a distance between you and your mother, if there was some separation between you, that would be the only reason that it would be. But I've got this lady, so we've got several people interested in this lady. So let's get a description and make it easier for everyone to connect. So thank you. Oh, I love it when they do this. I'm feeling my skin tighten, so I know that she wouldn't have had that many wrinkles. She has got a sense of humor about it, because she is saying, although having said that, bulldog clips work too. So she had a sense of humor about age. She did age gracefully, but I'm also feeling the skin tighten up here, because I'm very much aware that her hair was always very tight. I wouldn't say it was always pulled back, but it was always very tight, and it feels like it's lifting her forehead, to be fair, or at least lifting mine. I do feel, thank you, she's showing herself very vividly, which is something I don't always get, because I do work on a lot on claircognizance and sentience. But I'm very much aware that this lady had a very sharp, yes, I will be careful how I put it, a very sharp nose, very strong facial features, always immaculately turned out. I laughed before I came on and said, you know, people will think I'm a bit what's it, having 2 rings on tonight. And she said, oh, I had more than those. So I know she would have had lots of rings, certainly more than she could have put on her fingers. But she still tried. She still tried. Bless her heart. And I'm also very much aware that there was a locket that had extreme sentimental meaning. With this lady, either a locket or a pendant, a big pendant though. Give me that. Thank you for confirming that though, Lillian. Yes, lots of rings and jewelry for Bev. But Rhiannon doesn't get the rings. I think the rings are really, really important. I think we're starting to work out where we're going here. So I think, Bev, if I could work with you, thank you everyone for listening. And I'm sorry if I disappoint you by not getting this lady here for you. But the strong features, thank you, Bev. Yes, I think I'm with you, to be fair. I'm drawn, which is usually a good sign, because she would be drawn to the person that she wants to see. Okay, that's funny, because that's what I used as well. She's light bulb moment, light bulb, and there seems to be some sort of memory link about light bulb moments, and that's how I actually identify in a service in the physical world. Who I'm with, a light bulb shining above their heads. I'm very much aware that she was very filled with decorum, and you know, she would have had something to cover her face rather than just her hand if she coughed. Although, to be fair, it would have been a struggle to find any time in her prime where she did anything that would be considered untoward. Very much about keeping up appearances, but not in an over the top sort of way. It's just, there's a right way and a wrong way. You should try and endeavor to push yourself forward to the right way and always try and avoid the wrong way. And so it's very, very diplomatic and very, very, very gentle with her education of people until they didn't listen, in which case then the strong features certainly took over, especially the eyes, the stare, bless her. I always love it when they give me the stare. It's just unusual that I can actually see it peering back at me. And she'd soon tell, oh, thank you, Bev. Interestingly enough, the one thing that I am feeling that did catch her out in public more than once, and certainly a lot more towards the end of her life, is not being able to sit or stand straight. It's as I've got it as a bad feeling. I've got it as a bad feeling in my back, but it could just be the way of getting me to do it. Oh, thank you, Bev. She might take it away now. It gave a lot away. That annoyed her because she didn't like admitting that she needed help. She would ask for help on trivial things, you know, and the hands go up. Trivia's fine, but not the important stuff. I'm here to look after you. But she didn't like admitting. She didn't like admitting. Thank you. Defeat. This is a woman who was never defeated by anything, and she almost convinced herself that ultimately life would not defeat her either. And in so many ways, it didn't. But she said there are two things that are absolutely certain in this life, and they both hurt, and that's passing and taxes. She makes the comment about taxes, so I don't know if there's a memory link there, something to do with that. I do feel more inclined to want to pick up my glass and give you a toast. Oh, I've got to toast you, Bev. Something going on around you that requires a bit of a toast, and I do feel that whenever she whenever she picked up the glass, you knew she'd got hold of a glass because the rings would just rattle on it. It became part of the jewelry, part of the noise. And cheers to you all. Cheers to you all. Of all of the recipients that I've worked with, I have to say that she is the most interested in the comments going on down the side as well. I'm usually able to just allow Alison to direct me and give me what I need because I'm easily distracted, but she's absolutely interested in what everyone else is up to. And I do feel that that is part of her personality, that if she was talking about what everyone else was up to, nobody was thinking about what she was doing. She wants to say, you know, Bev, there's a lot been going on in your well, at least you don't have to worry about taxes on that, we hope. You shouldn't do anyway, but she's good on you, girl. She's talking about you know, around you and all what goes on around you, and she loves to see what goes on to distract. But don't she's, yeah, the cheersings was that. I know, thank you. I don't need to remember. She heard it. She does like putting you right, don't she? Whew. I do feel with her that whenever things got really emotional, really difficult, she would become a little bit flushed. Not that many people would notice that, but those nearest to and dearest to her, you and especially, you would have noticed this slight flushing whenever things were going to be emotionally difficult. Don't get me wrong, she didn't have a problem with putting people in the place and telling people, but she was also very cautious and very careful about people's feelings. Yeah, don't I know it? I love her. I think it's brilliant. But she's very much pulling me, back to the fact that you are just like, you are just like her, and just don't avoid the hard conversation. Oh, I've had to take the glasses off. This is serious. Don't avoid the hard conversations. There are people in your life that need putting in their place right now. If she were here, she'd have helped you. She says, well, I am here and I am trying to push you forward, but sometimes you don't always listen, dear. You've had 3 opportunities in the last week to say, yeah, there you are. There you are just like that. You've had 3 opportunities to put someone in their place this week and you've been too polite. Well, stop it, she said. I will remind everyone that advice from spirit is good, but we still have the freedom to choose ourselves. Don't get yourself in trouble. But she's saying you've avoided 3 opportunities or lost 3 opportunities. Don't miss the 4th, because she'll be there waiting. Oh, and excellent. That's good. She is starting to. Okay. She's starting to back away now. Because she's very much aware that you've got. Okay. She's very much aware that you've got things to do, things that you've been putting off all day, that she would never have tolerated you putting off when she was alive. Just because I'm not here doesn't mean to say I can't see it. So there we are. But as she backs away, what is that? I don't know. No, not that one. The other violets, African violets, the flowers, tiny little African violets, tiny little purple things. So she gives that, and she says, "You don't give them in bunches. You give it in a plant, Nick, because it lasts longer." So she was very thrifty too. I do give you, Bev, all of her love, all of her support, and hope that's great for you. Thank you for listening, and bless you, my friend. Bless you. So I hope that was all right for you, Bev. And let's see who else. Oh, cheers again. Cheers. Ching, ching. Sometimes I wish I was allowed something other than soft drinks. Right, let's see who else we have here. I think the rate I'm going, we might only get one more in. So everybody, pin back thine lugholes, because it's probably time for the last one. Right, let's have a look and see who we've got. Yes, of course, come on forward. I've got an elderly gentleman coming forward, and right at the beginning, when I was getting ready, I always like to have a nosy and see who's waiting. This such a gentle soul. And they were all talking amongst themselves, as they do frequently. And he just put his hand up and he said, I wouldn't mind getting in. I wouldn't mind getting in. If you got time, that is. So he was always very thoughtful and very considerate, but sometimes that was to his own detriment. He was the kind of gentleman who was literally deserving of that title, a gentleman. He would have stooped slightly forward towards the end of his life, but I feel in his prime he was quite a looming figure, actually, but he never felt it. But if you didn't know him and you just walked around the corner and bumped into him, you'd go through flying backwards. But in spite of his physical stature, he was such a gentle, I can't use that phrase, that sounds rude. He describes himself as inoffensive. I call him a gentleman, because that's what he is. He's got his hair's coming down slightly over his ears. He's got his cap on, so I can't see whether it meets in the middle or not. And he just called me a cheeky what's-it, and I won't finish off that sentence. But he called me a cheeky what's-it. So I can't see if it meets in the middle. But his hair does come slightly over his ears. He did have a stick when he was stooped over. Always smartly turned out, even when he wasn't. When he used to go out, he would wear a shirt, a jacket, trousers, usually matching. Towards the end of his life, little bits would slip. For example, people would see his shirt slightly untucked. Now, he would have been most annoyed. He would have been most annoyed about that. But his shirt would come untucked because he was leaning forward. Every time it's spirit, let everyone else come through and always misses his. Oh, bless him. Now, I don't know you, but your name looks familiar, so it could be his way of letting me know I am with you. So do keep listening, though. Would you also understand this bit about being really annoyed if people had noticed that his shirt had come untucked? Because he was very much about... Mum would make him wear a shirt, tie, and sports jacket. Sports jacket, yeah. Pads and things, yeah. He would have been annoyed if people noticed. He would have been annoyed if people noticed, but people would, because do you know what? People loved him. People loved him for his manner, his demeanor, his behavior, and they would never say anything to upset him. They got to know him so well that they knew what he liked, what he disliked. And if they noticed anything that they knew would upset him, they'd just keep their mouths closed out of respect. He was, yes, proud. That's the word. Thank you. I can take that word from you because I've described what it is. He did pull faces when he was trying. I don't normally stick my tongue out in public because, you know, took it out, washed it this morning, can't do anything with it. But he would pull a face, you know, when he was in a good mood and when things were going well and when something was really something to be proud of, he'd pull this really cheeky, happy. He had such a happy face. He had such a happy face and such a warm face. And that was part of, you know, like I said, this absolutely inoffensive personality. He knew how to put people at ease instantly. I am feeling an awful lot of nipping down one side. So I feel that would be something that he suffered from, and I'm going to ask him to take it straight away. Having said that, there were times he was a little bit impatient. There were times he was a little bit impatient because I can feel my hand tapping. My hand's tapping on the table as if to say, "Come on, Nick, get on with it." Tapping. There was these subtle little ticks he had. So the tapping is one thing, and the one finger was another, and he had these subtle little ticks that gave away his true feelings. But I do feel that he was very, very good at covering it up, even to those nearest and dearest. But those subtle little ticks, you know, the years that you knew him, Joe, you knew them. And as much as he was this kindly, lovely gentleman, he did have a limit. He did have a limit, and everyone who knew him knew what those limits were, and they would never, ever push their boundaries. However, there were people that didn't know him that would try it. And yet, in spite of the strength, in spite of the power, it was still a polite way that he would let the pretenders, he would let the pretenders down gently. But they knew not to push it any further. I think in all of his life, you'd have probably only ever seen him really wound up twice. And that was if you were lucky or unlucky in this case, but it was rare. But he knew it. Okay, I'm in trouble now. He says, but I know you said that he went to spiritualist churches, but he knew a good medium, and he was the kind of person who would sit there and whisper to you virtually the message that was coming next. He I don't know whether he practiced mediumship or not. He really should have done, but he knew what kind of medium you were going to have at the very least just by looking at him. And he's sitting here right now, and I feel that this is how he would have said. He's got his hands on his stick like that, and you could tell, because if he'd sit like that and sit up with his head up looking at him with the smile, then you knew you were in for a good night with the medium. But if his head was slightly more, it was like, okay, he's summing them up now. He's summing them up now, and he couldn't get the measure of people, and that's something actually, to be fair, that you take after your granddad on. He was always very, very much the one who could figure people out, and you don't use it enough. You really don't use it enough. You don't trust yourself and your instincts enough. You're better than you were 5 years ago, but you really must trust yourself a lot more. It's funny because you don't notice the things around you until they're made aware. I have lots of random things scattered around me, and I do feel he was a little bit of a klepto, to be honest with you. He would have things and stuff that he didn't really need to have, a bit like me, but he would have things and stuff, and he's pointing out to me, I've got a keyboard, so it's something to do with either a keyboard, a piano, or music at the very least. There's some strong connection with music with him that I'm being made aware of, and yes, thank you. I'm also, I have an OMG moment. Well, it's him that's doing it, not me. So OMG to the lovely man. He was. I've suddenly been. I tidied up this afternoon. But I'm suddenly aware of all these things laying everywhere, and I'm not entirely sure that all of them are physical. But yeah, the amount of coins you would find laying about, in particular, all over the place. Yeah, that was my Uncle Tom's, actually. I think him and Uncle Tom would have got on well because they sound very similar. Although, to be fair, Uncle Tom was a bit naughtier, and certainly wasn't the kindlier man when it came to saying what he felt. He wasn't always diplomatic. This gentleman, this particular gentleman, is a lot more diplomatic than Uncle Tom would have been. But yes, I'm sure they would share the love in clocks. He's really happy that you were able to make contact tonight. There is a okay, that's good. I like that. He obviously listened during the thank you. He obviously listened during the philosophy. He said, you've been itching to get some philosophy out all night, ain't you? And he obviously listened to the philosophy, because he's saying, in your life, you get worried about when things go well, because you sometimes see the light at the end of the tunnel. It could very well be another train heading down it. And he says, not anymore. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. And he says, anytime you get worried and anytime you feel yourself, that's where it comes from. Thank you. Anytime you feel yourself doused in shadow, that looming weight around you, if ever you feel that shadow, remember one thing. Shadows are only ever, and he was a table banger as well. Shadows are only ever cast when there is light. And he wants you to know that there is so much light around you, and not of the oncoming variety. So he says, come on, girl, pick it up. You know you're going to be all right, because you got me watching. Table bang again. You got me watching after you, and you've got so many people around you that care about you and want to support you and push you forward. Take the chance, he says. Take the chance and live. Take the chance and live, and be merry, be happy, be full of the joys of spring. And as he starts to back away now, I am, ow, something to do with his knee, because mine just nearly snapped off. He's taking me back to that coin, and he's saying there is a ring that was made out of one, as not only just a parting gift, but also as a memory link. There is a ring that someone has, that had a coin in it, or on it, or made from it. I didn't quite know. But seriously, he says, you know, you've got a lot of plans that you've always wanted to do. Do it. I can see a lot of upliftment and a lot of changes to whatever it is that he's talking about coming up in September to October, but certainly come the new year, your perspective will be all the more brighter. He was also, before he backs away, he also said, he's saying he was one for the ladies. Not that he was getting there. Brilliant, right, well, you're on course then, that's good. He was one for the ladies. He wasn't naughty, he didn't flirt too much, but he certainly knew he knew a good lady when he saw one. And he's just brought in this young lady on his arm. He's being very gentlemanly. He's holding her arm. They're interlinked, and he's just bringing her forward and saying, there you are, you see, you asked me, I brought her. So I don't quite know what that means, because it's not ready yet or something. But there's this, he's just pulled forward this young lady with lovely hair. And she got lovely hair. And he's just on her arm, brought her forward and said, there you go, you asked me, I brought her, but that's all you're getting now. And he gives you this big old grin, as if to say, you know, it ain't over yet. And that is not the last time you will hear about that. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. And I know you said he went to the spiritualist church, but he's just reminding me, he's just picked this, he says, it doesn't matter what shape it is. Doesn't matter what shape it is. It's all the same. And his passion meant everything. Oh, best friend since 4. Friends for as long as I've been alive, bless you. Well, know that she is being well looked after, because she is definitely in safe hands with this gentleman, and I'm sure he'll be pointing her in all the right directions to be able to communicate very well and very quickly, because as we have to go up and meet them, they have to come a little bit down and meet us, because we can't go all the way. Only once in our life, or 2 or 3 times if you're very unfortunate. But yeah, we can't go all the way, so they have to come down, so they have to sit in circle as much as we do. And chances are he knows 1 or 2 people who he could, the lady on the right on your profile. Oh, I see. Oh, bless you. She wasn't always that colour. She had different colour at some point. She wasn't always that colour. So I'll just throw that one in, because he yelled it at me. But I'm sure he knows someone who'll be able to help get her talking very, very quickly. Once she's had the time to settle down and do what she needs to do. So, Joe, I will leave all of his love with you. I will leave all of his hopes and best wishes for you, but most of all, a big smile for you. And I will say, God bless you, in very much the way he would have done. He would. I feel very. She's had all styles and colours. All right. Okay. There you go. So she's able to pass on through him a little bit. But yeah, very, very deliberate. But he did. Thank you. That's why we're saying this. He didn't say things by rote, and he didn't say things because it was expected of him. If he said, God bless you, you knew he meant it. And so from him and from me, God bless you, Joe, and thank you for listening. And I think that brings us up to time. Unfortunately, I have a little notification. Yeah, that is, I think 2 minutes I would probably be a miracle. I want to take this opportunity while I have 1 minute to say a big thank you, actually, to the lovely Alison, who has really looked after me and been my eyes and my ears and my grabbing hand throughout this. You know, having been in the position that Alison is in tonight, it's not always an easy task. And to give up your time to be squirreling away in the background, it's very worthy of praise. And she's been really good looking after me tonight. So send her all of your heartfelt thanks. And if you really want to send her all of your heartfelt thanks, you can also watch the brunch, which she has on Monday, I believe. I know if I'm not at work, which I probably will be, but I'll just tune in afterwards and watch later, because you can do that too online. So do join in and see Alison on Monday on the brunch show. And thank you all for listening. And I believe a little birdie kind of told me, yes, and I will be joining you on the brunch one day. I do shift work, so Mondays sometimes off, sometimes on, but come the 30th of June, full-time medium and minister, don't you know? So I'll be available every Monday if you want me, if I haven't got other bookings. So thank you for having me here on SPTV. Thank you for being so welcoming and so kind and so friendly, and also so patient, because sometimes you need to be with me. And thank you all for your kind words and your praisings. It's spirit. It's just do as I'm told. It's such an easy job to do as you're told. I will be available for such things, Sue, very soon. Keep an eye on the Facebook page, and anyone else who asked. But from me, I believe our good Alison here has a final advert for us. So from me, it's a big thank you for your kindness and support. I hope you've had a wonderful, uplifting evening. I hope me and my lot upstairs have done enough for a brief moment to at least help enhance your knowledge that life is indeed eternal, and that we, like one of my addresses, goes on forever. But now I believe it's over to you, Alison, for an advert.
Spiritual Psychics TV presents an holistic fair on Saturday the 11th of June, offering the best in spiritual readers and market stalls. Join us from 10 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. Throughout the day there will be many stalls such as natural polished crystals and stones, qualified complementary therapists offering spiritual healing. This exciting day is being held at the Waterlooville Community Centre, with plenty of free parking. A wide range of handmade products including candles, oils, jewelry, naturally organic and vegan soaps, creams, and bath bombs. Not forgetting the kids, we have face painting and a bouncy castle to enjoy all day. For those who are interested in potions, spells, and essentials oils, then we have a stall for you here as well. Maybe you're looking for a reading, be it mediumistic, palm, or tarot. 11 readers are available throughout the day. Refreshments such as drinks and light snacks are being provided by the 1940s tea room from Havant. Plenty of free workshops, talks, and a demonstration of mediumship are also planned during the day. For more information, please visit mbs.spiritualpsychicstv.online.